Why, hello everyone. Today's a special day because I just finally got done doing a tier list for um, Elden Ring. Finished that up, and that's probably well, it's not going to be the last of the Souls. We'll probably do the DLC for Elden Ring, but after that, I decided, you know, I I said I was gonna do a Dragon Ball Sagas tier list, so here I am. Typically, I would want to be joined by Cat and Dangelo Johnson and everything like that, but I figured in this case, I like Dragon Ball a lot. Like, Dragon Ball has been a part of my life forever, and I do want to, I would love to share this with them as well, but I think anything I do Dragon Ball related, unless it's, you know, required to be a team or something I'd want to really do with friends, I think I'll do most Dragon Ball things on my own. No offense to them, they love Dragon Ball too, and I'm sure they love it just as much as me. Maybe they think they like it more than me, but who knows, you know? But yeah, other than that, let's get on with it. Today we're gonna do the sagas first, and then I'm actually gonna do the movies right afterwards, and that'll probably be for next week. But yep, let's get on with it. Now I chose this one because the pictures and they kind of had it pretty organized. They had some parts split up a little bit too much during the Z saga, but I think I can live with it for now. I might even just say, hey, these are the same saga slash arc, so I think I'm just gonna put them next to each other at the very worst. But let's go ahead and get on with it. And let's check out my ranking now. This doesn't apply to me. I've watched all of this multiple times over. There's not going to be a time where I'll be like, oh, I didn't see that. No. I've seen it. So, the Pilaf Saga arc. The very first 13 episodes. Um, don't get me wrong, it's very nostalgic. It introduces your first characters of Goku and Bulma and Yamcha, Puar, Oolong, Pilaf. Kind of starts giving into the backstory of Goku, and it just kind of starts us off on this adventure of we're gonna go get these Dragon Balls. This is what kicks it off with a girl shooting a kid in the face with a pistol. Great times. Get to meet Master Roshi, and he's exactly the best pervert right off the bat. The first or the third character I think you meet throughout this show. He's like the third character, fourth character, right after like Turtle, if you count him. But yeah, the arc itself, though, it's not the strongest of arcs. It doesn't have too much action. There is the part where Goku fights Oolong a little bit, and I wouldn't call it a fight really, but there's no real true conflict until the last like 2 or 3 episodes when they get caught by Pilaf and Goku turns into the monkey. But it's also like knowing what comes later after this. Obviously, it's a lot better. And realistically, it probably should be down to a C for kind of like a mid arc. But personally, I'm gonna put it at a B, probably a low B if we do any if we start stacking this. Only because of the nostalgia factor of what started it all off. And you know what? Rest in peace, Kira Toriyama. His favorite arcs were more of the adventure ones, even though he knew that the action ones would probably please the people more. So, people. But yep, God, I've already gone on a rant. The first tournament, Master Roshi Krillin, that's Giran shooting him. Uh, Master Roshi being Jackie Chun. That whole jazz, Yamcha, everyone. The very first tournament. Um, it's such a vibe. It's so fun. It's a fun little tournament. First one we ever get, and it's got its fair share of action. It's got its fair share of comedy. Um, there's some really nice twists and turn. Sorry, let me redo that sentence. There's a bit of twists and turns there. The main one being the pretty much near the climax of the arc where Goku sees the moon again. He regrew his tail. Turns into a monkey. Master Roshi has to blow up the moon, which is crazy to establish a power scaling right then and there about these characters. So that's really fun. But yeah, I'd put that at B, definitely higher than the Pilaf Saga, which sucks because that makes me want to put this down to a C, just because there's no way there's just no way. Sorry, Pilaf. I'd love to keep you at B for nostalgia's sake, but the action's where it's at, man, and that it has action. The Red Ribbon Army Saga. This is the one where it's okay. So they split it up like that. General Silver in the tower and everything, and Goku at Penguin Village. I guess it's all right. This is where we get to meet Ader. And there is some funny moments, like with the ninja dude whose name I'm forgetting at the moment. I think it's General Blue or Purple or something. And he sticks the bamboo up his ass. And then there's General Metallic, which is just pre-android. Prototype Ader, where he's the Terminator robot. And Goku still beats him and Silver and all the... It's a fun little adventure for the Dragon Ball and him starting to take down the army. The General Blue Saga, boy, I don't like General Blue. He kind of works as an effective villain for the 5 seconds he has on screen, but this guy is kind of like a clown to me. I don't really like him that much. This is I think this is the General Blue Saga. I guess this is where... I guess it's also kind of just part of this too, because this is where Arale shows up and they go to that underwater cave, which isn't very exciting. I probably could really just skip that whole part. So yeah, C, probably even D, but Arale shows up and that's a cool crossover, so we'll keep it there. Commander Red Saga. I'm definitely going to put that a little bit higher up because Goku just going through an entire military base and just blowing it the hell up and everyone there and just annihilating General Blue, Red, Black, Chow Pai Pai, I think was part of this arc. Yeah, he went on a rampage. Just to get the Dragon Balls, to revive Upa's dad, Bora. Yeah, I remember all that. Which, that would have kicked us up to B, because that's the start of the conflict, and him killing Tao Pai Pai kind of sets us all off to where he wants his revenge on the Red Ribbon Army. But yeah, the conclusion's better than the beginning. Also, consequences for destroying the Red Ribbon Army, the Android Saga, which is crazy, and also Dragon Ball Super Superhero. So yeah, this whole moment right here is just sets up a lot for the futures. And then we get to definitely an A tier arc, not an S tier. S tier, I'll save that for something fantastical, but this definitely belongs in the A tier. It's another mini tournament of sorts. It's a challenge where Goku and his friends go through it so they can find the Dragon Ball, the last Dragon Ball, using Baba's wish. I think that's what it was. Because they broke the radar or something like that. I know they needed a wish from Baba, but they had to go through her challenges, which we find out Baba is Master Roshi's sister. The challenges are pretty fun. Um, Anybody who had YouTube and stuff back in the day, or if they were, I don't know if anybody was good enough with the VHS and hit that pause button on the Bulma scene, but as a teenager, I definitely paused and saw that scene, and obviously it was in the manga, or I think it was cut from the manga, one of the two. Either way, if you know it, if you know, you know, you know. But that's not the best part. The two best main parts of this arc, this little saga here, is one, Goku versus Devilman, and Devilman using his Devilmite beam and realizing how pure-hearted Goku is a really nice scene in itself. That's why he gives up when Goku's just steamrolling some of these guys, and it shows that Goku has he's a pure boy. Like anybody else, part of their group they would have died to that attack, but not Goku. So that's real reassuring. And then comes one of the most emotional scenes that you get in Dragon Ball with the mysterious fighter. Spoiler warning. I'm gonna count down 3, 2, 1, 0. Grandpa Gohan being the mysterious fighter, and Goku slowly realizing it throughout the fight, like, oh hey, you smell like somebody familiar to me, and then hey, you have a similar fighting style to the one my grandpa taught me, and then when he finally hits that mask off, realize who he is and all that stuff. And man, that's such an emotional scene, because we just saw Goku go from beating up Pilaf to General Tao, for his dad getting killed, he destroying the entire Red Ribbon Army to get to the Dragon Balls, and they needed one more to revive Upa's dad. And you don't realize until you get to this part and you get to that scene with Grandpa Gohan that he's been going on a tear. He was like a mini Superman. But then you forget that he's a 12-year-old boy. He's just a kid. So when he sees Grandpa Gohan, he starts crying about it, and you remember that, oh yeah, this is just a 12-year-old boy who lost his grandpa, at one point, because he remembers that he turned into a monkey and stuff, and that, no, he doesn't remember that. He remembers that in Dragon Ball Z. But he doesn't realize he was the one that killed Grandpa Gohan and all that stuff. But all the characters know that were there, like Bulma, Yamcha, and the like. But they still don't tell Goku. But yeah, it's just a little emotional scene that I think really cements this fortune teller Baba part. And actually, fun fact, in Dragon Ball Super, when Goku's picking up Frieza from Baba's place for the Tournament of Power arc, there's actually a mini scene that people pointed out where Goku's fighting. He's just doing like a little practice fight in the middle of the arena. He's doing like some visual training, or supposedly it looked like he was doing visual training, but actually what he's doing is actually a reference, an Easter egg, I don't know what you want to call it, but he's actually in his mind fighting Grandpa Gohan on that same stage he fought all those years ago. Which is also like that. I may not like a lot of Super, but it's stuff like that that, man, that's an S tier reference, or whoever thought about doing that, fantastic. But yeah, A tier, only because there's definitely some S tier bangers coming up. So, the TN tournament, I guess just the 24th World Martial Arts Tournament? 23rd? One of the numbers. The numbers are hard to pay attention to. But the TN tournament, that tournament was pretty good. Like, that was a top tier tournament. Yanfa get his legs annihilated. This whole thing about, this is where this whole like trying to turn the villain to a good guy kind of started, and never ceased to stop apparently. This is like one of the first ones that Goku does where, well, actually I guess it was less Goku, more of like Master Roshi and his influence on trying to change Tien for the better, because he recognized he was a good fighter, and that the way that his master Shen was going, he just wanted an assassin, just a killer instead of like an actual martial artist. And Master Roshi saw good in Tien, and they had some nice tricks. They a lot of techniques they introduced, like the floating technique, which became, you know, just our standard flying technique eventually. Which I think how it goes is that you use the hover technique, and then they use the aura to push themselves around. I think that's how they fly. I don't know if that's officially how it is, but my headcanon, I guess, would be that. Because they don't explain flying too well, and I think it's the combination of that floating technique and then also using your aura to kind of jet yourself around. Multi-arm technique, multi-form technique, solar flare, tri-beam, Dodon ray, all that good stuff. And the fights themselves, each pairing is really good. Goku goes to train for a little bit before this tournament, comes back. He fights Krillin in like the semi-final rounds. They actually have a nice little back and forth. Krillin thinks he gets the upper hand when he grabs Goku's tail. Goku pretends, then knocks Krillin out, saying that he trained his tail so that wouldn't be a weakness anymore. So that's clever on Goku's part. It's just, and the fight itself is so like fun to watch, just because like, you know, it's just a fight that you'll think back on for years when you see Krillin versus Goku in the tournament, because it's so innocent. It's so like it's a great display of friendship. It's really nice, and that they're also rivals still at that point. Tien was definitely intimidating. He blew up the arena. The ending is super climactic, and it's actually kind of crazy how it ends. With Tien winning only by not hitting an object first by ring out. He got lucky, but Tien becoming a good guy and everything like that, forgoing Master Shen, and, you know, going his own path. But he also becomes a really, really good ally. So I like this whole tournament arc here. Some of the fights were really good too. Let's see here. King Piccolo Saga. I do and don't like some of the King Piccolo Saga. It's somewhere between A and B for me. The reason why I say, if a lot of people will be like, what? Why would it ever be in B? Some of the stuff in it really doesn't make sense, or like there's some Goku stupid moments that kind of happen that don't need to happen. There's also the unfortunate Deus Ex Machina of the Ultra Divine Water. If you guys didn't understand what that meant, I'm not trying to condescend. It was just Uh, if you've never seen the Dragon Ball arc, you might not know, but at one point, Goku has to be taken to Korn's tower um, because he lost to King Piccolo, and the way that they, instead of training, they he's been to Korn's tower before to train with him. He did train with him, and that's how he got stronger to beat Tao Pai Pai. They told him about Ultra Divine Water that would make your power grow, multiplied by 10 or something like that. And at first, after the training was done, he drank the water, and Korn was like, "Oh no, see, the water was never magical. It was the training the whole time. It was the friends you made along the way." And then Goku was like, "Oh, okay, cool." But now, in the King Piccolo arc, the Ultra Divine Water now exists for real. Then they do a little side quest to go get it, and Goku gets a power up which kinda unearned. And I don't know. As a kid, I didn't think about it, but as an adult, I'm like, yeah, that really is just like, it's like eating a senzu bean, It's very convenient and magical. But I think, though, introducing this arc by just capping Krillin, all the previous martial artists you can, taking over the world essentially, or at least like attempting to before your plans are foiled, getting Goku to pre-Dragon Fist through you, man, this arc has a great conclusion too, a brutal conclusion. Tien tries to fight, he gets beat up by Drum and King Piccolo. King Piccolo actually wastes Master Roshi and Chaozu, and he destroys the dragon, and he becomes young. He actually got a wish off. Like, that's the parts that make this an A tier, because like King Piccolo, man, he did a lot. He killed a lot. He almost got his entire way. Goku was the last line of defense for Earth. If Goku lost, that would have been it. And Goku lost to him once, so yeah. If Goku earned the power up, this would have been like an S tier type of arc. This would have been high A tier, S tier, but yeah, no, I can't forgive that. What are we at already? 20 minutes. Okay. Piccolo Junior Saga. Man, I think I kind of have to put this either at the top of A, bottom of S. This arc is perfect. It's improvement. Brings all the characters together. They're all grown up. We start recognizing some of them from Z, because a lot of people didn't go and see Dragon Ball, myself included, until I was like, honestly, not until I was like 13, 12 or 13, when I had access to YouTube and the internet, and I was like, oh yeah, I always knew that there was like a Kid Goku saga of some sort, but I never looked into it. So I finally did when I got access to YouTube. Somebody put up all the episodes on YouTube, and I spent so much time watching every single episode, making sure I was watching every single episode. I had a Wikipedia tab, and I wrote it down, like every episode name, number. Man, I just made sure, I watched it all too. It was probably one of the best things I ever did. And Piccolo Junior Saga, man, I mean, this arc has it all. It's brutal. It's all action. There's a little bit of comedy. There's a little bit of romance with Goku and Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi makes an appearance. A lot of people come back for this. The training, they train really hard, and Goku just absolutely dominates his training. No more, this is where he kind of just leaves everyone in the dust for the rest of their life. Tien, Krillin, Yamcha. At this point, it was already over. He becomes the strongest person on Earth after this fight, too. And boy, what a brutal fight Piccolo versus Goku was. How many twists and turns. Piccolo getting big. him sealing away Kami, uh, the brutal shoot, like where Goku gets shot through his, like, uh, not his chest, but his, like, shoulder blade. Essentially is, yeah, it was insane. And then he gets shot in both legs. He survives that nuclear explosion Piccolo did where he blew up the entire ring. And then comes flying down, headbutts him, wins. Asks him to be a good guy, gives him a sense of being. But the fight is amazing. So much choreography, so many techniques that just... some of them even get reinvented, like Goku Kamehameha with the feet. Like, that's never been replicated ever again after that, and that was kind of crazy to watch. When you seen that, after watching all of Z, if you ever seen that, you're like, what the heck? Why didn't they ever do that again? It doesn't really make much sense to do it with their feet after that, but still, it's still a wild thing to do, you know? They were really inventive back then. Yeah, and you know what? He tries to convince Piccolo of, not being like his father. And I think that's the best part. And I think this whole thing is honestly just great right at the end. The only thing I hope it doesn't count is the wedding, because the wedding was kind of I don't like that. The only part of the wedding at the last couple episodes that I like is just the wedding portion and nothing in between. I hate all that. The town's on fire, go get the Bancho fan, go hit the lady and go hit Grandpa Grandpa Gohan. Yeah, that kind of... I wish we sweep that under the rug. But you know what? The fights are in here, man. They're intense. Krillin versus Piccolo. Krillin put up a pretty good fight. Goku versus Tien. It was a pretty good fight. Kami versus Yamcha. That was funny because he was possessing a dude. And he straight up, he murked Yamcha. And then Kami versus Piccolo. And then, he ate him in the jar. Yeah, that was all fun. Bringing back the evil containment wave, all that stuff. Yeah, I think this belongs in S tier. It's probably going to be at the bottom eventually because of some other arcs in the future, but yeah, that definitely is up there. The Saiyan Saga with Raditz. This is a very standard arc. It introduces that Goku's actually Superman. Came from a different planet and everything, kind of kicks it all off. Raditz was pretty intimidating because, one, we always knew Goku and Piccolo to be like the two strongest beings on the planet, so when Raditz lands, and first person he meets up with is Farmer with a Shotgun, who tragically, he must have been not working out too much that day because Raditz got one up on him. But you know what? I think he survived, and really he just let Raditz go free. So, but then the second character we meet is Piccolo, and Raditz just didn't give a shit about him. He was like, who are you? He was like, do you know anybody named Kakarot? He was like, well, I asked you a question first, but I don't know who that is. No. Then he was like, oh, bigger power level. See you later. Like, damn. Didn't even care about Piccolo at all. Then he goes and meets up with Goku, tells him his old origin, steals his kid, knees him in the gut. He used his tail to smack Krillin through the house, which that's kind of crazy because it's, Saiyan tail weakness. The fact that the weakest part of his body sent Krillin flying through a house, Jesus. But anyways, and then him teaming up with Piccolo to go fight him, which is also awesome because, hey, at this point, if you had just known it through Dragon Ball, you're like, whoa, our guy Goku's teaming up with the previous villain, Piccolo, to go teach this guy a lesson to save Goku's kid. This is crazy. They fight. Goku loses his life. Raditz loses his life. Raditz is his brother that he just discovered existed is now dead and never going to be brought back. A brutal kill, by the way, with the special beam cannon through the chest. Gohan, we're seeing that Gohan has a hidden potential power because he's half Earthling, half Saiyan, and his emotions seem to increase his power. The fight with Goku and Piccolo versus Raditz, very nice. I love that one. It was a lot of ground combat. There was some flying. Piccolo missing the special beam cannon at first and having to charge it again. Outsmarting Raditz by grabbing his tail. Not outsmarting himself by letting go of his tail the first time. Dumb Goku, dumb. Thank you very much. But eventually recovering and doing it again and getting the whole special beam cannon full Nelson pose. And then the warning of 2 more Saiyans are coming. So that leads me to this one. This is definitely high A tier. Possibly even S tier. I'm thinking about it. Let's talk about it first. Well, a year later, actually not even a year later, I think it was only 9 months later. They were told a year, but 9 months later, the Saiyans show up. Goku's training off on King Kai's planet in Death, and he's learning some new techniques. All of our Z fighters are training for the upcoming battle. They think they train enough. They meet up with the Saiyans and Raditz warned them about, which is Vegeta and Nappy. Ironically, Nappy, since he has no hair. And the Cybermen. And they thought it was just going to be easy pickings. Yamcha's first one up, and then we get that famous death pose. And then there's a manga that's actually I reincarnated as Yamcha, and you guys should read that because it's really funny because he actually makes it pretty far. It's a guy who I forget what, he slips down some stairs or something, wakes up as Yamcha, realizes Yamcha doesn't want to die, so he actually makes Yamcha one of the strongest Earthlings possible and avoids death a lot. It's a funny manga. You guys should read it. I actually have the physical version in my room on my bookshelf. But yeah, right off the rip, the fight's brutal. Yamcha gets killed by explodey bomb Cybermen. They then get super serious. Krillin destroys a lot of the Cybermen. One of them almost blows up on Gohan. Piccolo catches him, destroys him. And just Skeleton, man. I remember seeing Skeleton. Then they fight Nappa. They do like an hour wait time before to like Goku, hero's journey and all. Got to give the main character time to try to attempt to get there. But after that hour and Nappa starts fighting, boy, it is fucking brutal. First thing he does is he punches Tien's goddamn wrist and forearm off, just right off the bat. Chaozu tries his best to do something by way of Cyberman. He explodes himself to do 20 damage to somebody who has 200 health. And then Tien, with the last of his Hamon, shoots a tri-beam. He does about 40 damage. And again, this guy has 200 health. What are you gonna do? Maybe even 300 health. So you're really not doing much. Krillin and Piccolo try to do what they can by fighting him, teaming up with each other, doing techniques, wanting to rely on Gohan to fight. But at the end of the day, he's like 8 years old. He's not trying to fight. Or he's like 6 years old, one of the two. He doesn't fight. He doesn't do any of that. So when it comes time, they do a volleyball spike into Gohan with Nappa for a surprise attack. Gohan runs away. He's too scared. That's when they realize, like, oh, we might be screwed. So they keep trying. Piccolo sacrifices his life for Gohan because he never had a friend. And it's ironic that his friend is the son of his enemy, or a previous enemy, which would be Goku, his rival. Um, Gohan, again, shows his potential, that he could be really strong, beats down Nappa a little bit. Unfortunately, Nappa starts getting a little bit ahead and almost getting a W. Goku shows up, and boy, when Goku shows up, that over 9,000 everybody remembers, which was actually over 8,000, but whatever. You know, I know. Goku just one tapping Nappa. No way, that was Raccoon. Nappa, he actually beat the brakes off of. He didn't even need to go Kaioken. He didn't need to do it. He did do it. He didn't need to do it. But he brutalized that man. That man was. I can only imagine the inside was probably like when you take a meat tenderizer and just start beating a steak for 2 hours. I'm sure that's what his insides looked like after that. It was just. Ugh. Yeah, honestly, Vegeta was a mercy when he put him down. And then let's not even forget the Vegeta versus Goku fight. Oh my god, that's probably one of the best fights you can possibly have. Which makes that into S tier, because both of these parts combined. Man, you get the Gallic Gun Kamehameha, you get a monkey fight, Kaioken, you get Desperation, solar flares, shooting in the eye with the energy, all types of tricks, Spirit Bomb, everybody ganging up on him, Krillin, Gohan, Yajirobe of all people, cutting off his tail so he'd stop being a monkey, Gohan looking up and becoming a monkey because he regrows his tail, slamming down on Vegeta. Man, Vegeta got rocked by the Kamehameha, he got rocked by the Spirit Bomb, he got rocked by Big Monkey falling on him. He just, man, he went through the ringer. Honestly though, Vegeta's tenacious as hell at the end of the day. He went through a lot of damage. That dude was like, he was like a tank. The shortest tank you've ever seen. Stout. But that man took so much damage, he should have been dead even before the Spirit Bomb, realistically, but no, that dude kept going. So, props to Vegeta. And Vegeta being, the one of the best characters in my opinion throughout the entire rest of the show, because of he has an entire character arc that comes full circle, but we'll get to that later. I acknowledge that Akira Toriyama's favorite character is Piccolo, and they're maybe similar, if not just the same character, but one's tall and green, the other one's short Saiyan. But I believe Vegeta is the better character in this case, even though they're pretty similar. Then we cut to the Namek Saga. I don't think the Namek Saga is anything crazy. Honestly, I honestly think that Namek Saga falls between B or C for me. Because it's nothing special. We get a glimpse of Space Hitler here. Kind of understand, like, we go on our little journey to a new planet, which is crazy to think about because, they killed Piccolo in the Saiyan Saga. We need Dragon Balls. So, we go to his home planet, which is really cool because it's like, hey, never thought this would take place in space, did you? So it's kind of like a fun little adventure there. Quickly cut short by when they arrive there and they realize the whole entire planet's starting to be murdered for these Dragon Balls. And things are happening, like, pretty quickly. Vegeta shows up there. Everyone, Frieza and Vegeta wanting to be immortal. And the only things that really happen is Zarbon and Dodoria get taken out by Vegeta, along with Qui. But it's really just a bunch of just flying around or hiding. There's not much to it. Using the Dragon Radar to get a Dragon Ball, trick Vegeta, you know, that's all well and good, but nothing really happens in this arc, so I think this one's a C. I don't think it's anything more than that. The Ginyu, the Captain Ginyu stuff, the Ginyu Force, that one's a little better. Having all those wacky characters is right before Frieza starts his assault. Goku finally arrives, and he was training the whole time. And he arrives in the nick of time because everyone's getting a beat down, smack down. Guldo almost got a kill. Vegeta ruined that. Raccoon almost got 3 kills. Goku ruined that by just straight one-tapping him. Just one punch man him. Knocks him out cold before he ever gets to do anything. And then he just straight up shows everyone the business. Captain Ginyu, Jace, Birder, didn't matter. He just annihilated them. It did get kind of to a climactic point with the body switching and everything like that. That was pretty cool. And we cut it close, so it shows you like, hey, brawn isn't always the way to win. Sometimes a little bit of brain and technique and luck. And you know, that actually was a really fun little arc. It was mainly action. There was a little bit of sneaking around for the Dragon Balls and things like that. Them realizing they need a password, so they gotta go find whatever Namekian's left alive and try to get one from him. And yeah, that was all fun. So yep, that's definitely at least B tier. Do I even have to say anything about the Frieza Saga? The Frieza Saga is S tier. Frieza is Space Hitler with a Napoleon complex. I mean, this guy is just straight a menace. His entire army's a menace. He destroyed the Saiyans. This dude is just a straight psycho sociopath. It's pretty obvious. One of the best fights in the entire series. We get Super Saiyan. We get Dying Planet Namek. Very brutal scenes. Frieza being cut in half. Actually, Frieza took a lot of damage too. He got cut in half. Planet blew up. Goku did a Kamehameha one-hand wave towards him. After all this beatdown that lasted for 300 years. Him taking out Krillin. Him almost taking out Piccolo all the way. He's gonna kill Gohan. Man, Frieza was just it. His multiple forms. Him stabbing into Krillin in his second form. Blasting Piccolo in his third form. Completely flooring Vegeta in his final form. And yeah, getting Goku to go legendary Super Saiyan. That 100% full power buff form. It is what it is. But yeah, that whole ensuing beatdown. Quite the spectacle. That's for damn sure. And then Goku wins. Frieza doesn't actually die, he gets robo parts. So it's actually amazing how much punishment Frieza can take. But yep. I don't even really have to explain myself there. The Garlic Jr. saga. I mean, what do you want from me? This is like a couple episodes. It's in between. This shouldn't even exist, realistically. They needed some filler, and this is what they did. Reached back into the old vault of movies and decided that Garlic Jr. was a good one for some reason. And yeah, even the filler itself doesn't even take itself as seriously, because they acknowledge things like that. And yeah, Garlic Jr. is just a boring, just out of nowhere saga that really doesn't need to happen, because he gets beaten the same way. He gets destroyed by his own ult. I mean, What are you gonna do? Trunks. Let's see. It's weird to call it the Trunks Saga because technically it's supposed to be the Android Saga, but if I had to separate this, I guess it's this whole King Cold fight, Goku coming back from outer space. He knows new techniques like the instant transmission, Super Saiyan. There was a little bit of a Super Saiyan fight that was fun. You're trying to figure out who this mysterious Super Saiyan is. You get told that it's Vegeta and Bulma's son, which is like, oof, poor Yamcha. But hey, you guys made a great kid. Yeah, it's not any, and I don't know how far this is supposed to extend, seeing as the Android Saga is like, I don't know, like 5 minutes afterwards. I guess the Trunks Saga would probably include Android 19 and 20. Android 19 and 20 suck. I don't like any of those two. I don't like Dr. Gero, and I don't like Android 19. I like Dr. Gero more because, you know, he's integral to the story, Red Ribbon Army, making the androids, Cell, all that stuff. That's fine. But Android 19 sucks. I don't even know why it was there. Android Saga is when we officially introduce 17, 18, and 16. They put the beat down on the Z Warriors, and then they go traveling for most of the time they have left. Everyone's trying to get Goku back to full health with medicine and all that stuff. What else happens? That's about it. The androids just keep driving around. They have excuses of getting Goku to try to be better so they can win a fight. Only thing that happens is Cell is also introduced near the end. And Cell's a real fun character. I love every aspect. Like every form is fun in its own way. Damon Clark always delivers. But yeah, it's a pretty low tier, C tier. Actually, you know what? No, I'd probably put that above that because at least the androids, at least you know who the main threat is. This is just, yeah. You could have made the Android 19 into a literal Pillsbury Doughboy, and it would have been probably about the same impact. Yeah, sorry, I kind of mixed those up for a bit. Android 17, 18, 16 are at least fun as characters. They're all jiving with each other as they drive around, so it's a little bit of a wholesome moment with that. And then Cell versus Piccolo and things like that. I think that's where this is going, right? Imperfect Cell Saga. I guess Imperfect Cell Saga would be something else, but I think where is that running? 48 minutes? Okay, I'll do a part 2. I do a lot of ranting, I guess, but I'm very passionate about Dragon Ball, so you know what? If you hate it, I'm not going to apologize. I'm going to stop right here, though, because it is getting late for me. And, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you disagree with any of my placements, feel free to comment. We finally got a D tiers to put down there, which I knew was inevitable because Super is also on here, so don't worry about it. There'll probably be more joining Garlic Jr. down there. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.